Hi, it's T. Carlson here. Quiet Riot was the first heavy metal band to ever top the pop charts. And several years ago, the band did crowdfunding to raise money for a documentary on the history of the group. I was one of the people who donated to that Kickstarter, and several years ago, we finally got the finished product. This is Quiet Riot. Well, now you're here. There's no way back. I'm going to unbox this release, and I will share my opinion. Nice critic quote there at the top. Real life Spinal Tap. And I got this with a Kickstarter, so my copy is autographed by late drummer Frankie Banelli, as well as Regina Russell, who directed the film, and also married Frankie Banelli following production on the film. Here's the spine, back cover. Inside, we have our DVD. Disappointingly, there is no Blu-ray available for this, so the DVD will have to do for now. I'll read the description of the film from the back of the package. Quiet Riot, well, now you're here, there's no way back, is a funny and inspiring documentary that chronicles the rise, fall, and resurrection of 80s metal band Quiet Riot. It offers an unlikely and surprisingly personal account of coping with the loss of a friend. The career of Frankie Banelli, the band's drummer, reached a serious crossroads when his best friend and singer Kevin DuBrow died in 2007. Years later, Banelli realizes he must forge ahead and make a new life for himself and his daughter as he goes on an alternately tragic and hilarious quest to reunite the band and fill the immense void left by his bandmate. Starring Frankie Banelli, Dee Snider, Rudy Sarzo, Glenn Hughes, Steven Adler, Matt Sorum, John Five, Martha Quinn, Kelly Garney, Chuck Wright, Alex Grassi, and many more. It's no secret that I'm a fan of Quiet Riot. I pretty much love all things 80s metal, and that whole Sunset Strip scene is one of my absolute favorite parts of the heavy metal world. A lot of the guys from that movement actually live out here in Las Vegas now, so I have maybe even a greater appreciation for it than people who live in other places. I donated to the Kickstarter for the Quiet Riot documentary, and it took many years for it to come out. But I have to say, for the most part, it was certainly well worth the wait. Getting to look into Frankie Banelli's personal life and the stuff that he does off the stage, it's entertaining and certainly informative. You genuinely feel that the guy was heartbroken when his bandmate Kevin DuBrow passed away from an overdose back in 2007. I remember that was all over the news out here in Vegas when that happened because, again, that's where I live. And you get to see him trying to put his life together, trying to get the blessing of former band members and even Kevin DuBrow's mother so that he can forge ahead, continue to provide for himself and his daughter, and hopefully revive the band and go back to doing what he loves most. And I have to say, there's some great rare footage to be had here. There's some great new interviews, and it's a little bit of everything. It's not just a point A to point B documentary. It is a little more freeform, and you do get to see some interesting footage and sides of these guys that you've never seen before. It's genuinely heartbreaking and sad at times, but there's also times where it's just laugh out loud funny. And it really is the best of both worlds in that regard. Probably the only minor criticism I have with this movie is it spends a little too much time on the stuff after Kevin DuBrow died and Frankie trying to put the band back together with new singers. I love this stuff, but it probably should have taken up a little less of the runtime. Personally, I think the story when Kevin was alive and the attempts to keep the band going during his lifetime should have gotten a little more emphasis here. There's a ton of albums in the Quiet Riot catalog that don't even really get mentioned or talked about at all here. That said, though, overall, I was certainly impressed with this documentary, and it does justice to this band, telling their story in a very good way. This is a standard def DVD, so picture quality, understandably, is not the best. The newly shot interviews actually look pretty decent for the most part. The archival footage, understandably, varies from source to source. Some of the old stuff's pretty rough, although some of it's preserved pretty decently. Overall, though, I would say this looks pretty good, and it's certainly watchable. For bonus features, we get about 15 deleted scenes of footage that didn't make it into the final movie. Sadly, there's no play all button for this, and you have to sit through the production company logo and little credits at the end of each one, and that's a little annoying, but just getting all that extra footage is certainly a nice bonus. As a diehard fan of Quiet Riot, I loved this movie. I did have some minor criticisms with it, but I do think this is a DVD that all fans of the band should absolutely own. Are you a fan of Quiet Riot? What's your favorite song and album? What did you think of this documentary? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos. And make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.